Listen to me very carefully because I'm about to tell you something that's going to change your financial life forever. I don't care if you're 20 years old or 60 years old, if you're broke or if you're already making six figures. What I'm about to share with you is the difference between dying rich and dying poor. And let me tell you something. I've made millions. I've lost millions. I've sat across the table from thousands of entrepreneurs, and I know exactly what separates the winners from the losers. It's not luck. It's not inheritance. It's not some secret magic formula. It's boring. That's right. Getting rich is boring. And that's exactly why most people never do it. Before we go any further, I need you to do something for me right now. Hit that subscribe button. I don't ask for much, but if you want to learn how money really works, if you want to stop being poor and start building actual wealth, you need to be part of this community. So subscribe, turn on notifications, and let's get down to business. Now I'm going to give you 5 rules today. 5 simple, boring, unglamorous rules that will make you rich if you follow them. And I mean actually rich, not Instagram rich, not fake rich, but real wealth that lasts. So pay attention because I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Rule number 1. And this is the one that nobody wants to hear. Stop spending money on garbage. I mean it. Look at your bank statement right now. Go ahead, pull it up on your phone. I'll wait. What do you see? Coffee every morning, $10. Lunch out every day, $15. Subscriptions to services you forgot you even have, another $50 a month. A new pair of shoes you didn't need, $120. You know what all of that is? That's your retirement. That's your financial freedom. And you're throwing it away on things that don't matter. Let me explain something to you. Every dollar you spend today is a dollar that can't work for you tomorrow. When you buy that fancy coffee, you're not just spending $5. You're spending the $5 plus all the money that $5 could have made you if you'd invested it instead. Over 10 years, that $5 could turn into $15. Over 20 years, it could be $30. Over a lifetime, that one cup of coffee is worth hundreds of dollars. And you're buying one every single day. That's not a treat, that's financial suicide. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Kevin, I work hard. I deserve to enjoy my life. And you're right. You do work hard. But here's the thing. Enjoying your life doesn't mean being stupid with your money. You can enjoy your life and still be smart. Make your coffee at home. It takes 5 minutes and costs 50 cents. Bring your lunch to work. It takes 10 minutes the night before and saves you $3,000 a year. Cancel the subscriptions you don't use. It takes 2 minutes and saves you $600 a year. These are not sacrifices. These are smart decisions. I started with nothing, absolutely nothing. And I learned very early that every dollar matters. When I was building my first business, I didn't go out to fancy dinners. I didn't buy expensive clothes. I didn't waste money trying to look successful. I saved every penny and I invested it back into my business. And that discipline, that boring, unglamorous discipline, is what allowed me to build wealth. The people who get rich are not the people who make the most money. They're the people who keep the most money. And you can't keep money if you're spending it all on nonsense. Here's what I want you to do right now. I want you to track every single dollar you spend for the next 30 days. Every coffee, every lunch, every impulse purchase, write it down. At the end of the month, add it up, and I guarantee you're going to be shocked. You're going to see hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars that you wasted on things you don't even remember buying. And that's when it's going to click. That's when you're going to realize that you've been sabotaging yourself this whole time. The wealthy understand something that poor people don't. They understand that money is a tool. It's not for spending, it's for building. Every dollar you earn should have a job. It should either be paying for something you absolutely need, or it should be working to make you more money. That's it. There's no third option. If your money isn't doing one of those two things, you're doing it wrong. And most people are doing it wrong. They're letting their money sit in checking accounts, earning nothing. They're spending it on things that lose value the second they buy them. They're basically taking their future and setting it on fire. I see people driving around in cars they can't afford, living in apartments that are too expensive, wearing clothes with designer labels just to impress people they don't even like. And you know what? Those people are going to be broke for the rest of their lives because they're playing a game they can't win. They're trying to look rich instead of being rich. And there's a huge difference. Looking rich is easy. You just spend all your money. Being rich is hard. You have to save your money, invest your money, and wait. And nobody wants to wait. Everybody wants it now. But that's not how wealth works. Wealth is built slowly, over time, with consistent, boring decisions. It's built by saying no when everyone else is saying yes. It's built by staying home when everyone else is going out. It's built by driving the old car for another few years while everyone else is leasing new ones. It's built by being disciplined when discipline is the last thing you want to do. And I know that doesn't sound fun. I know that sounds like a terrible way to live. But you know what's really terrible? Being 70 years old and broke, being unable to retire, being dependent on Social Security and hoping your kids will take care of you. That's terrible. Spending a few less dollars today so you can have millions tomorrow, that's not terrible. That's smart. So rule number 1 is simple. Stop spending money on garbage. Cut the waste. Be ruthless. Every time you're about to buy something, ask yourself, do I really need this or do I just want it? And if the answer is you just want it, don't buy it. Put that money aside. Save it. Invest it. Let it grow. Because that's what rich people do. They don't buy things they want. They buy things they need and they invest the rest. And over time, those investments grow into real wealth. The kind of wealth that gives you freedom. The kind of wealth that means you never have to worry about money again. Now, some of you are sitting there thinking, Kevin, I don't make enough money to save anything. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. And I hear you, but here's the truth. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, it's because you're spending every dollar you make. And if you're spending every dollar you make, you need to spend less. I don't care how little you make, you can always find something to cut. You can always find $5, $10, $20 a month. And those dollars add up. They compound. They turn into something real. But you have to start. You have to make the decision today that you're not going to live like this anymore. The first rule is the foundation. Everything else I'm going to tell you builds on this. Because if you can't control your spending, nothing else matters. You can have the best investment strategy in the world, but if you're spending everything you make, you'll never have anything to invest. So get this right first. Master this boring, simple, unglamorous rule. Stop spending money on garbage. Your future self will thank you. Now that you understand rule number 1, now that you've committed to cutting the waste and stopping the bleeding, we can talk about rule number 2, and this one is going to make some of you uncomfortable. Rule number 2 is pay yourself first. And I don't mean treat yourself to a shopping spree. I mean the second you get paid, before you pay your rent, before you pay your bills, before you do anything else, you take a percentage of that money and you put it away. You invest it and you never touch it. Most people do it backwards. They get their paycheck, they pay all their bills, they spend money on whatever they want, and then if there's anything left over, maybe they save it. But there's never anything left over. That's the problem. There's always another expense, another emergency, another reason why you can't save this month. And so months turn into years, years turn into decades, and you never build any wealth. You're always broke because you're prioritizing everything else over your own financial future. I learned this lesson the hard way. When I was young and stupid, I thought I could save whatever was left at the end of the month. But you know what was left at the end of the month? Nothing. Zero. I was making decent money, but I had nothing to show for it. And then somebody told me something that changed everything. They said, Kevin, if you don't pay yourself first, you'll never pay yourself at all. And they were right. So I started taking 10% of every paycheck and putting it into investments before I did anything else. And you know what happened? I didn't miss it. I adjusted. I learned to live on 90% instead of 100%. And that 10% grew and grew and grew until it became real money. Here's what I want you to do. Starting with your very next paycheck, take 10% off the top. If you make $3,000 a month, that's $300. If you make $5,000 a month, that's $500. I don't care what you make. Take 10% and put it somewhere you can't easily access it. Open a separate savings account. Open an investment account. I don't care where you put it, just make sure it's not in your checking account where you'll be tempted to spend it. And then forget about it. Don't touch it. Don't look at it. Just let it sit there and grow. Now, some of you are panicking right now. You're thinking, Kevin, I can't afford to save 10%. I'm barely making it as is. And here's what I'm going to tell you. You can't afford not to. If you can't live on 90% of your income, then you're living beyond your means and you need to cut back. Go back to rule number 1. Stop spending money on garbage. Cancel subscriptions. Make coffee at home. Bring lunch to work. Find the money, because this is non-negotiable. If you want to be rich, you have to pay yourself first. Period. The reason this rule is so powerful is because it forces you to prioritize your future. When you pay yourself first, you're saying that your financial security matters more than that new phone, more than those concert tickets, more than eating out 3 times a week. You're making a conscious decision that building wealth is more important than immediate gratification. And that decision, repeated over and over again, is what creates financial freedom. Let me tell you something else. The amount doesn't even matter that much in the beginning. What matters is the habit. If you can only save 5% right now, fine, save 5%. The important thing is that you do it consistently, every single time you get paid without fail. Because once you build that habit, once paying yourself first becomes automatic, you can increase it. You can go from 5% to 10%, from 10% to 15%. But you have to start. You have to build the discipline. Rule number 3, and this is where it gets really boring, is eliminate your debt. All of it. I don't care if it's credit card debt, student loans, car loans, personal loans, get rid of it. Debt is stealing from your future. Every dollar you pay in interest is a dollar that could be working for you instead of working for the bank. And most people are drowning in debt. They've got credit cards maxed out at 20% interest. They've got car loans at 8% interest. They're making minimum payments and wondering why they never get ahead. And the answer is simple. You can't get ahead when you're being dragged backwards by debt. Here's how you do it. You make a list of every single debt you have. Write down the balance, write down the interest rate, write down the minimum payment. Then you rank them from highest interest rate to lowest interest rate, and you attack the highest interest rate debt first. You pay the minimum on everything else, but you throw every extra dollar you have at that highest interest rate debt until it's gone. Then you move to the next one, and the next one, and the next one, until they're all gone. This is called the avalanche method, and it's the fastest way to get out of debt because you're minimizing the amount of interest you pay. Now, I know some financial gurus tell you to pay off the smallest debt first so you feel good about quick wins. That's called the snowball method. And you know what? That's fine if you need the psychological boost. But mathematically, the avalanche method saves you more money. And I'm all about saving money. So if you can handle it, do the avalanche. Pay off the highest interest debt first. Get rid of that credit card that's charging you 22%. That's insane. That's highway robbery. And you're letting them rob you every single month. While you're paying off debt, you need to stop creating new debt. Cut up your credit cards if you have to. I'm serious. If you can't control yourself, if you keep spending money you don't have, cut them up. Use cash. Use a debit card, but stop borrowing. Every time you use a credit card and don't pay it off in full at the end of the month, you're making yourself poorer. You're literally paying extra for everything you buy. That $50 dinner becomes $60 with interest. Those $100 shoes become $120. It's stupid. Stop doing it. I see people all the time who think they're being smart by using credit cards for points or cash back. And yeah, if you pay off your balance in full every single month, that's fine. That's actually smart. But most people don't do that. Most people carry a balance and pay interest that completely wipes out any rewards they're getting. So unless you have the discipline to pay it off every month, you shouldn't be using credit cards at all. They're a trap. They're designed to make you feel like you have more money than you do, and the credit card companies make billions of dollars off people who fall for it. Getting out of debt is not sexy. It's not exciting. You're not going to post about it on social media, but it's one of the most important things you can do for your financial future. Because once you're debt-free, all that money that was going to interest payments can go to building wealth instead. Imagine how much faster you could save if you weren't paying $500 a month in debt payments. Imagine what you could do with that money. You could invest it. You could build an emergency fund. You could start a business, but you can't do any of that if you're stuck in debt. And let me be clear about something. I'm not anti-debt in all situations. There's good debt and there's bad debt. Good debt is debt that helps you build wealth. A mortgage on a house that's going to appreciate in value, that can be good debt if you do it right. A student loan for a degree that's going to increase your earning power, that can be good debt if you pick the right degree and don't borrow too much. But credit card debt, car loans for cars you can't afford, personal loans for vacations, that's all bad debt. That's the debt that's killing you. And that's the debt you need to eliminate as fast as possible. Rule number 4 is build an emergency fund. And this is the rule that saves you from going back into debt. Because here's what happens to most people. They work hard, they pay off their debt, they're finally free, and then something happens. The car breaks down, the roof starts leaking, they lose their job, and because they have no emergency fund, they have to put it on a credit card. And just like that, they're back in debt. All that work, all that sacrifice, wasted because they didn't prepare for the inevitable. Life is going to throw problems at you. That's guaranteed. You can't avoid it. But what you can do is prepare for it. You can build a cushion so that when something goes wrong, and it will go wrong, you can handle it without destroying your finances. That cushion is your emergency fund, and every single person needs one. I don't care how much you make. I don't care how stable your job is. You need an emergency fund. Here's the target. You need to have 3 to 6 months of expenses saved up in cash, not invested in stocks, not tied up in real estate, cash. Money you can access immediately if you need it. So if your monthly expenses are $3,000, you need $9,000 to $18,000 in your emergency fund. If your monthly expenses are $5,000, you need $15,000 to $30,000. And yes, I know that sounds like a lot, but it's not optional. This is what protects you from disaster. Now, you don't have to build it all at once. Start small. Start with $1,000. That's your first goal. Get $1,000 in your emergency fund as fast as possible. Work overtime. Sell stuff you don't need. Do whatever it takes, because that $1,000 is going to save you the next time something small goes wrong. It's going to keep you from putting it on a credit card. And once you have that $1,000, you keep going. You build it up to 1 month of expenses, then 2 months, then 3 months. And you don't stop until you have that full cushion. The emergency fund is boring. It just sits there. It's not growing much because you need it to be liquid and safe, but it's one of the most important parts of your financial plan because it gives you security. It gives you peace of mind. It means you can sleep at night knowing that if something happens, you'll be okay. And that peace of mind is worth more than any investment return. Rule number 5 is the one that actually makes you rich. Everything else I've told you so far, that's all preparation. That's getting your financial house in order. But this rule, this is where the magic happens. Rule number 5 is invest consistently and let compound interest do the work. And I'm telling you right now, this is the most boring, most powerful wealth building tool in existence. It's not exciting. It's not glamorous. You're not going to get rich overnight. But if you do this right, if you stay disciplined and give it time, you will become wealthy. That's not a maybe. That's a guarantee. Here's how it works. You take that 10% you're paying yourself first and you invest it. Every single month, like clockwork, you invest. You don't try to time the market. You don't wait for the perfect moment. You don't panic when the market goes down. You just invest month after month, year after year, decade after decade. And compound interest, the 8th wonder of the world, does the rest. Your money makes money, and then that money makes money, and then that money makes money. And it grows exponentially in a way that most people can't even comprehend until they see it happen. Let me give you an example. If you invest $500 a month starting at age 25 and you get an average return of 8% a year, which is very realistic for a diversified portfolio, by the time you're 65, you'll have over $1.7 million. Let me say that again, $1.7 million. And you only put in $240,000 of your own money. The rest, almost $1.5 million, came from compound interest. That's your money making money while you sleep. That's the power of starting early and staying consistent. But here's the thing that kills me. Most people don't start at 25. They wait until they're 35 or 40 or 45 because they think they have time. And then they wake up one day and realize they're behind. If you wait until you're 35 to start investing that same $500 a month, you'll only have about $850,000 by 65. You cut your retirement fund in half by waiting 10 years. 10 years. That's the cost of procrastination. That's why I'm so passionate about getting people to start now, today, not tomorrow, not next month, not next year, now. And I don't care if you can only invest $50 a month right now. Invest it. Something is better than nothing. Because the most important factor in building wealth through investing isn't how much you invest. It's how long you invest. Time is your greatest asset when you're young. The longer your money has to compound, the more it grows. So stop making excuses about not having enough money to invest. Start with whatever you have and increase it as you earn more. Now, let me tell you exactly what to invest in, because this is where people get paralyzed. They don't know what to buy, so they don't buy anything. And that's the worst decision you can make. Here's my advice. If you're just starting out, if you don't know anything about investing, put your money in low-cost index funds. These are funds that track the entire market. You're not trying to pick individual stocks. You're not trying to beat the market. You're buying a little piece of everything. And historically, the market goes up over time. Not every day, not every year, but over decades it goes up. I like index funds because they're simple, they're diversified, and the fees are low. And fees matter. If you're paying 2% a year in fees to some financial advisor who's not beating the market anyway, you're throwing away hundreds of thousands of dollars over your lifetime. Find a low-cost index fund with fees under 0.2%. Put your money in there every month and don't touch it. Don't check it every day. Don't panic when it goes down. Just let it sit there and grow. The biggest mistake I see people make with investing is emotional decision making. The market goes down 10% and they panic and sell. They lock in their losses. Then the market goes back up and they miss the recovery. Or the market goes up and they think they're geniuses, so they start taking risks they shouldn't take. They buy individual stocks they don't understand. They chase the hot investment everyone's talking about, and they lose money. Don't be that person. Stick to the plan, invest consistently, stay diversified, ignore the noise. I've been investing for decades. I've seen market crashes. I've seen bubbles. I've seen panic and euphoria. And you know what I've learned? The people who get rich are the ones who stay calm. They're the ones who keep investing when everyone else is selling. They're the ones who understand that short-term volatility doesn't matter if you're investing for the long term. When the market crashes, and it will crash again, that's not a reason to sell. That's a buying opportunity. You're getting stocks on sale. You should be excited, not scared. But you can only have that mindset if you have your financial foundation solid. And that's why the first 4 rules matter so much. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, if you're drowning in debt, if you don't have an emergency fund, then you can't invest properly. Because the first time you need money, you'll have to sell your investments at the worst possible time. You'll be forced to lock in losses because you didn't prepare. But if you've done the boring work, if you've cut your spending, if you're paying yourself first, if you've eliminated debt and built an emergency fund, then you can invest with confidence. You can ride out the ups and downs because you know your basic needs are covered. This is why boring wins. This is why discipline beats excitement every single time. The people getting rich aren't the ones chasing crypto or meme stocks or get rich quick schemes. They're the ones doing the boring stuff. They're maxing out their retirement accounts. They're investing in index funds. They're reinvesting their dividends. They're doing the same thing month after month, year after year. And it works. It's worked for millions of people, and it will work for you if you let it. Now, let me address something, because I know some of you are sitting there thinking about retirement accounts. And yes, you should absolutely be using them. If your employer offers a retirement plan and they match your contributions, you need to contribute at least enough to get the full match. That's free money. If you don't take it, you're an idiot. I'm sorry to be blunt, but it's true. If your company will match 3% of your salary, you contribute 3%. That's an immediate 100% return on your investment. You're never going to find a better deal than that. Beyond the employer match, you should be maxing out retirement accounts because of the tax advantages. Money you put in a traditional retirement account reduces your taxable income now. Money you put in a Roth retirement account grows tax-free forever. These are huge benefits that can save you tens of thousands of dollars in taxes over your lifetime. Use them. Take advantage of every tax-advantaged account available to you. It's not exciting, but it makes a massive difference. Here's what your overall financial picture should look like if you're doing this right. You're living below your means. You've cut out wasteful spending. You're paying yourself first, investing 10% or more of every paycheck. You're aggressively paying down any high interest debt. You've built an emergency fund with 3 to 6 months of expenses. And you're consistently investing in low-cost index funds for the long term. That's it. That's the formula. It's not complicated. It's just boring. And most people can't handle boring. They want excitement. They want to feel like they're doing something special. But special doesn't build wealth. Boring builds wealth. I want you to think about where you'll be in 20 years if you follow these 5 rules. You'll be debt-free. You'll have a fully funded emergency fund. You'll have hundreds of thousands of dollars invested in growing. You'll have options. You'll have freedom. You won't be stressed about money because you'll have money. You won't be living paycheck to paycheck because you'll have built a cushion. You won't be dependent on your job because you'll have investments generating income. That's what financial security looks like. And it's available to anyone who's willing to do the boring work. But if you don't follow these rules, if you keep spending everything you make, if you keep going into debt, if you never invest, I can tell you exactly where you'll be in 20 years. You'll be in the same place you are now, or worse. You'll still be stressed about money. You'll still be one emergency away from financial disaster. You'll be looking at retirement and realizing you can't afford to retire. And you'll be wondering where all the time went and why you didn't start earlier. Don't let that be you. The choice is yours. You can keep doing what you've been doing and keep getting what you've been getting, or you can make a change today, right now. You can decide that you're going to take control of your financial future. You're going to stop making excuses. You're going to do the boring work that builds real wealth. And 20 years from now, you're going to look back at this moment as the turning point, as the day you decided to get serious about money. So here's what I need you to do. First, if you found value in this video, if you're committed to building wealth, hit that like button right now. It helps more people see this message. Second, subscribe to this channel and become a member. We're building a community of people who are serious about money, who understand that boring wins, who are willing to do what it takes to become financially free. I need you in that community. Third, leave a comment below. Tell me which of these 5 rules you're going to implement first. Tell me what's been holding you back. Let's talk about it. And finally, take action. Don't just watch this video and forget about it. Go right now and do one thing. Cancel one subscription you don't need. Open a savings account and set up an automatic transfer. Make an extra payment on your highest interest debt. Do something today that your future self will thank you for, because that's how change happens. Not with big dramatic gestures, but with small, boring actions repeated over and over again. I've given you the formula. I've told you exactly what to do. The rest is up to you. You can either use this information to change your life, or you can ignore it and stay where you are. And I'm telling you, staying where you are is not an option if you want to build wealth. The world doesn't reward people who stand still. It rewards people who take action. So take action. Start today. Follow these 5 boring rules, and I promise you, your life will never be the same. You'll build wealth, you'll build security, and you'll build freedom. And there's nothing boring about that.